My name is Bruce. I'm 49 years of age. I'm married with 3 kids, and I'm a police officer with the Los Angeles Police Department. I've been a police officer now for 26 years next month. I've worked pretty much every assignment one could think of with the police department. I worked gang unit, special problems unit. I worked the foot beat. I'm now assigned to detectives working in major assault crimes. I guess my back pain started really affecting me more so was around 1997, 98. I started working the gang unit, had a lot of what we call uses of force where we had to apprehend suspects who didn't want to go to jail. You had to kind of wrestle with them to put the handcuffs on them. It started around that time and it progressively gotten worse over the next 2 or 3 years. Going to 2000, I started physical therapy. That went on for maybe a year, 2 years or so. You know, they taught me exercise I could do to kind of help alleviate the pain, and a lot of medication. I've been taking anti-inflammatories probably now for the last 15, 16 years or so. That was a big issue because you start having other effects, kidneys, liver, and so forth. I tried not to use it as much, but a lot of times I didn't have a choice. Around 2010, again, I started having more problems with my back. One of the issues we have as police officers, you're wearing a gun belt that weighs anywhere from 20 pounds to 24, 25 pounds. I always carry extra ammo, so my gun belt was a little heavier than most people because of the job I was working. So my belt was pretty heavy. And over the years, pretty much 20 of those years I was in uniform, and that started taking a toll. Getting in and out of the car became another job for me just to get out the car. And a lot of times if I move a certain way, my leg would just go out. But as soon as I stood up, I was okay. And 9 times out of 10, as long as I was standing and walking, it was mainly sitting and standing, squatting. There have been times where I was on perimeters and we'd hide behind cars. We got an active shooter, whatever the case may be. And you're crouched down for a couple of hours or you're pinned down. And I've been there. So it just, over the years, doing this for 26 years now, it started taking a toll. There were incidents where, I couldn't do the things I wanted to do because of the back pain. Like I said, I have an 8-year-old and 6-year-old. I was already having chronic back pain. And I can remember one incident where my son was on the end of the bed and I had to jump because I thought he was going to fall off the bed. I had to jump to grab him. And I was on my back for like 3 days after that because whatever I did, that nerve got pinched and I couldn't walk for almost 3 days. What was funny about it, because it's a pinched nerve, I could be fine for a month and I could just turn my leg a certain way and I'm on the ground or I'm falling to my knees and just like, wow. And the pain is unbearable when that nerve gets caught right at that little pinch area. It had a profound effect on my personal life. Things I would like to do, I wouldn't do. I like to ski, bike ride. I could do it, but it was minimal. And I always had to be real careful that I don't aggravate it somehow. It's almost one of those things like you don't know when it's going to happen. If you're going to be at work, at home, chasing after somebody, it's one of those things where it's always in the back of your mind. I think I had maybe 8, 9 years on the job when I first started having the chronic pain. So we go back to 98, so actually 17 years or so, I dealt with it. I guess a lot of issues were that it was so many unknown factors about having back surgery. Because I worked with several guys that had to take a medical pension because they had a back injury like mine. You either had to take a pension or they shoved you in a corner somewhere until you retired. And I was having too much fun doing police work that I just wasn't going to risk it. So I took my job doing what I enjoy doing over getting the surgery and feeling better. But as time went by and the techniques changed, I started hearing that and doing a little more research, and that led me to where I'm at now. So right around 2013 or so, I started seeing another doctor, and about that time was when it got to a point it was unbearable and surgery was needed. I think I had maybe 2 or 3 MRIs, had nerve conductor tests done. The MRIs were, to me, I mean, I'm not a criminal. I've never been in jail, but I could just imagine what it feel like being inside a cage, because you're in this little tube and you can't move. You have to sit there for 30, 40 minutes. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter. It's kind of nerve-wracking. The nerve conducting test that I had was so painful. All I could think of was I couldn't be a spy, because they asked me the question, like, okay, we're gonna pitch you. I'll tell it all. It was painful. So after that, when the conclusion came back that it was what it was, I had to have the surgery. I'm not the type of person that want to have surgery, and for me to have surgery, it took a lot. And my wife kept saying, well, what you gonna do? We should just go ahead and have the surgery. And I was fighting it. It was one of those things where you can keep living with this chronic pain, or we could try to relieve some of it. And I had the surgery, and it probably was the best thing I ever did. The day of my surgery, I was pretty nervous because, everybody have heard some type of story about you don't want to get back surgery. It's like the worst surgery in the world. The day of the surgery, I was pretty nervous. I went in early that morning, and I could say by that afternoon, I walked out of the hospital. I had my surgery. When I came to, my wife was there, and I didn't feel any pain. And they let me see the little incision I had, which was maybe a half an inch incision. And I had a cup of water, and I was ready to go. The complete recovery from start to finish probably was about 6 or 7 months. Probably longer than normal, I don't know, but I have a more of a demanding job, a more physical job at times. Post-surgery, just take it easy. I mean, act like you're on vacation. You don't have to be nowhere, don't rush to go nowhere, just get your rest, R&R, rest and relaxation. And that's what I did probably for the first 2.5 weeks. Just took it easy. One of the things where I had to take the kids to school, so I really was enjoying that. My house, I have 2 flights of stairs, so I had to take my time going up the stairs. And there was one time I think I may have aggravated a little bit, trying to do too much, which gave me a setback. And one of the things you have to remember about having this particular procedure is that you have to take it easy, because everything around your joint is swollen. I don't go to work, sit behind a desk. So if you have a job like that, you probably could be back to work in a few weeks, a month or two, providing you don't aggravate your injuries. I know I look good at 49, but my body, I'm 49 years old. I'll be 50 this year, and I feel it. I've had maybe 5 or 6 different surgeries throughout my lifetime since I've been on the job. And with those surgeries, they take their toll on you. Physical therapy went on for 6 months or so. I haven't done it in a couple of weeks, but I waited on another prescription for more physical therapy. And physical therapy for me now at this point is just trying to strengthen the core muscles around the area and keep doing the exercise that they're telling me I need to do. It's demanding. Go there, it's not like a little picnic. You think you're gonna go there and relax. When I come out of there, I'm sore, I'm hurting, but after that go away, I feel a lot better. You gotta go in, you gotta give 100%, because if you don't, you're not gonna feel better. I can remember at the beginning, I was still in a lot of pain, so I was trying to take it easy, and they would tell me, oh, you need to do this, and I would half-ass do the job, per se. And after about maybe a week of that, I was like, I got to do it. You just got to fight through the pain. And it wasn't really painful, but it's kind of uncomfortable. Maybe that's a better word, uncomfortable, not so much as pain, because they don't want you to be in pain, but they want you to be a little bit uncomfortable. It's all about strengthening those muscles that you haven't used or don't use. And once you get through the initial couple of weeks, I enjoy going to physical therapy now. One of the issues that I think a lot of people don't think about is your loved ones around you. My situation with my wife, she was my caregiver for some time now. Even prior to having the surgery, when my back would go out, she would go take a pain pill. And I'm one that don't like to take a lot of medication. and I will always fight it. Sometimes it creates a little animosity between us because I'm complaining about my back pain, and she thinks all I need to do is go take a pain pill to make it all feel better, and that's not always the case. Because sometimes you take that pain pill and you don't feel better. Well, after the surgery, I needed her, I needed my kids, because for me, making this decision was life altering. I mean, I could have went under there and it could have been just the opposite. Could have came out of there, it could have been a lot worse. And they tell you that prior to having your surgery, that this is not 100% guaranteed. I've had maybe 2 flare-ups in the past. That was because I was overexerting myself, trying to do more than my body would allow. A lot of times I'm trying to do things that I probably would have did at 30, 35, and I'm 49. Body tells you, slow down. You're not 30 no more. Other than that, haven't had any other real issues with my line of work. They do give you a medical pension when you have these type of injuries. Medical pension for me was out of the question. I have young kids, and it's not conducive to my lifestyle or what I want to do. And that was part of the reason for having the surgery, to do something that would keep me working. If you couldn't return back to work within a year, they would pension you off. So that's a big deal for law enforcement. With my time on the job now, it's not a big issue. But for somebody, a rookie or 5 years, 10 years on the job, and you injure your back, and it happens all the time, you can find yourself getting a medical pension and stuck making $30,000, $40,000 for the rest of your life. Follow your doctor's orders. Doctors tell you what you need to do, and if you follow those orders, you'll be okay. To be honest with you, after the first week, I felt like I could do all those things. You really do, but you just can't do it. And I think a lot of people re-injure themselves because you're actually feeling that good. I can run up these stairs, but it's a no-no, don't do it. One of the things I did before I had this procedure, did my own little homework on the doctors who's performing these types of surgeries. When I finally went and saw my doctor, I was comfortable with him. You know, he came in, he made me feel like he cared. He wasn't one of these doctors come in and look at you and wouldn't have a real conversation with you. He found out what was bothering me, and we did a lot of little different physical activities in the room so he could see what my limitations were. So you got to be comfortable with whoever you're going to use. And when I did have my surgery, I was confident that he could do the job. I thought I'd be a year and a half dealing with trying to get this thing right. Well, you take 9, 10 months and then you look at 17 years, I did the math. So if it took me 17 years to deal with this pain, then come on, 9 months of just having surgery, and now I'm feeling 100% better and wishing I would have did it a long time ago, or wishing they had this procedure a long time ago, which they didn't back in the 90s and early 2000s. At least I didn't know about it. No regrets, feeling good, can conquer the world now.